Hello, everybody, and welcome to another brand new episode of That Tom Clancy Show. I am, of course, your host, Mr. That Tom Clancy. I don't know why I throw a title before that, but I've just kind of fallen into it. So, welcome to another week of brand new, wonderful shows. We've got 4 planned for you this week, including today's. I will be taking Friday off. There's going to be some people at my house taking care of things, and well, there won't be electricity, and I can't really do this show without electricity. We also had our first ever community game night last night. We played like 3 or 4 hours of Unfortunate Spacemen. Super game. We'll be playing again this upcoming Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. If you weren't there last night, absolutely come join us. It was super great. Now, of course, all of that pales in comparison to my guests today. Now, probably as no surprise to any of you, today's guests were among the finalists for last month's Pitch Your Game Awards, which, again, not a surprise for you. Now, with a game about imagination and plays like theirs, you'd think that I'd come up with a better intro, but I couldn't. So, Bits and Pixels, please join me in welcoming Yuval Markovich and Alon Simon. Hey, guys. That was bad direction on my part. I should have.
Hey, sorry.
I should have said something. So, welcome to the show.
Hi.
For having us.
Oh, no problem, man. Thanks for being here. I mean, I am but the humble robot host. You guys are the people who are doing the hard work. And good morning, Gav. Thanks for joining us. Lost in Play. Your beautiful point-and-click adventure game. For those in the audience who may not have heard of the game before, would either of you like to explain the game?
Yeah, sure. Lost in Play is it's an adventure game about a brother and sister that are falling in and out of play. Like they start playing make-believe games, and it just takes over their entire existence, and they fall into it. The characters believe that what they are imagining is real. You solve many puzzles along the way. You meet many amazing, weird creatures and whimsical creatures, and eventually they fall in and out of this state of play. And they found out that when they are lost, they can't find their way home, and they start the journey home. And with the help of some creatures they meet along the way and their wits, they try to solve the puzzle.
Nice. Yeah. I mentioned earlier, like 5 seconds ago, that you have a very pretty art style. I was trying to find a better word than pretty, but unfortunately, that word eluded me. But it's one second here. My brain is moving faster than my mouth, which usually doesn't happen. Yeah, and you can understand the problem. So, how about this? My processor is outpacing my speakers.
Oh, now I get it.
So, you have built this game to look like a child's cartoon.
Yeah.
So, why that particular art style?
First of all, as you said, my name is Alon, and we are missing one member of our team, Oren. Oren and I are the designers and animators of the game, and we live in this design of animation, and we we try to look at like a TV animated series, and of course, our inspiration are classic point and click games of LucasArts, such as Monkey Island, then the Tentacle, and others. So that's like what we were aiming the game to look like, and also like more TV shows like Over the Garden Wall and Adventure Time and I forgot the name, Gravity Falls.
Man, you know, everybody talks about Adventure Time, and like, I get it. I understand why people like it. I just don't. I feel like I'm missing out on something. But your game does look good, regardless of the Adventure Time thing. But it definitely comes through in the look of the art. Your characters are very charming. I really appreciate the little like frogs you have everywhere with the little like gnome hats. Yeah. Like, they're great.
Thanks.
So, just out of curiosity, what engine are you guys using? I'm guessing Unity?
Yeah, you guessed right.
Man.
I've been working in Unity for I think over 10 years now.
Wow.
I actually paid like for the early version of Unity, version 2, I think, and I've just discovered it and working on it since then. So it's just the obvious choice for me. And I also made some games with Oren before that, and Alon and Oren made a game like before that with Unity. So the whole pipeline worked really nice for Unity. So that's why we decided to go that route. All the animation are done with Adobe Animate, so like the undead flesh. You know, everybody keeps pronouncing flesh dead, but it keeps popping up again. So here it is again. We are making all the animation in flesh.
Hey, I mean, if it works with your workflow, there's no reason to do something else.
Exactly.
So, So, just to let the audience know, if at any point you guys have a question for the developers, feel free to type it up in chat. I have a monitor here, as you can plainly see, so I can, still read messages and stuff. I might be a robot, but I can read, sir and madam. But okay. I had a question there for a moment, and then it disappeared, and now it's back. You touched on this in your answer to the Unity question with workflow and pipeline, and that's something I haven't really touched on much in the show, mostly because I just haven't thought to ask about it. And also, too, I know some people don't really care about those questions, but I do. So you're working in Adobe Illustrator, animating in Flash, and then putting all of that into Unity 3D.
Right. Now we're not working on Illustrator.
What was that?
We are not working on Illustrator. Oh. Everything is done using Adobe Animate.
Oh, Animate.
Flash. Yeah.
Yeah. So
the software formerly known as Flash.
Yeah. Flash was a great internet friend of ours for a very long time. They will be missed, but its time has come. So, could you walk us through a little bit of that production pipeline? Because that's I generally work in 3D, as you can see, and so I know that pipeline pretty backwards and forwards, but the 2D pipeline has always been kind of alien to me.
Yeah, well, it's working in a 3D engine with 2D assets. That's like a different thing, but basically it's not like everything from the processor, like from the GPU point of view, everything is 3D. We work in Unity, so it's 3D. But the pipeline is just Oren and Alon, like after the scripting and all that, we sit, we design, we make the script, we design all the puzzles and the interaction, the point and click, and then Oren and Alon just design it in Flash, and we Unity has recently made available like a timeline. We make really heavy use of that. We export all the animation from Animate and import it into Unity and just create timeline clips there, and try to create all the interaction based on this timeline. So it's not a timeline like you would have in an editing software where everything is linear. It's a timeline which has logical, some logic in it, and it's hard to explain, but it just triggers things. It's not synced all the time. It's a new approach working with the timeline, I think, for this game. It's something that we tried, and it's working pretty well. So that's the main pipeline in terms of the art assets and the game engine.
Nice. So you mentioned, or you said at the beginning that you are making this game as a point-and-click adventure, which, you said that the old point-and-clicks of the past, the classic LucasArts titles, which we will miss old LucasArts games.
Yeah.
Now they're
classic.
They're classics. But point-and-click is something you really don't see outside of the indie space anymore. So why point and click in particular?
I think it's something that we did love when we're growing up, and I think it hasn't been done enough. You can't do it from a different approach. I think that there are a lot of things about point and click that they didn't do well, and stuff that they did do well, and I think we thought that it's something that we can improve upon. And Oren and Alon, before this game, they did the Office Quest. I don't know if you know this game.
I don't think that I do.
So it's a point and click adventure. It doesn't have the level of freedom that this game has. We try to make it more open and more it's more advanced. But you can check out the Office Quest. It's available for all platforms. So this game, it worked pretty well. People really loved it, and it sold well. So we wanted to continue on that venue and just improve on it. So, and also I think it's a good place to work on something that is very visual, and it has all these animations, because if it's like a platformer game or something like that we are working on, it's kind of limited because the degree of freedom is too much to create all this vivid interaction that we want to make in terms of the art style. So I think, that's the reasons that we went there.
It's
a good tool to to tell a story.
Yeah.
So
I imagine you would have a bit more control over the pacing that way, for sure.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sorry at my poor pronunciation of names. Alon?
Oh. Yes.
Oh, I didn't fail that time. So you are doing the animation, and you also said the design, correct?
Yeah, totally correct.
Yeah. So when you are approaching a new gameplay space to add in a puzzle or some other kind of gameplay interaction, what is your design process for going into that? Do you go in from a perspective of already knowing what the story beats are going to be for it, or is it more that you're designing the puzzle, you're designing the play space, and then kind of molding the story around it?
It's sometimes we approach from this direction and sometimes from the other. I can say that when we started, we wanted to make a game after we finished our previous game, The Office Quest, and we had a lot of we didn't know exactly what the story is going to be, and we just started from making sketches and to find like characters and design that we like, and we came up with the kids and this imaginary world. And from there, we started to think about the story and what's happening, and then also it depends. We can start from the idea, like we want to make something that happens in the forest and the monster, and then we start to think what's going to be in there, and then to design it. And sometimes it can come from the design. Like we started to sketch something and say, oh, well, that's cool. We can what kind of reader can we make with this item or with this character? So it's like both way, I guess.
Nice. It does make me, as a fan of story, happy to know that it is informing some of the design decisions as opposed to the design decisions informing the story. Because especially in the AAA space, the story serves as more of a garnish to the game. It's all about getting those main core mechanics in and fitting the story to that. Generally speaking, not to say that there aren't studios that do it the other way around, but it's definitely a breath of fresh air to hear that you guys are looking at it from that perspective. Before you aren't like going, oh, we're going to have all puzzles A, B, and C. Now let's rewrite the entire story. Excuse me. Around. Where did my water go? I can't speak now.
Do a restart on your monitor.
There we go. Man, you see, it wasn't something always goes wrong on the show, and today it was me. It wasn't the show. So congratulations, guys. You happen to be here for a first time error. So, yeah, that's nice. Like, with your kind of your creature design, and I know that you had mentioned inspirations and like the cartoon side of things, but are you pulling any are you pulling any inspiration from any folklore or anything like that? Because your antlered bear really stands out because, I mean, it looks cool. But or is that just like kind of, or are you just coming up with like original creations?
Yeah. I think we try to come up with original creations in the game. Of course, we are influenced by everything we have, and I think it's easier for the puzzles themselves sometimes to use like a known story. Like we have a puzzle we're working on now, and so we use the like a version of the princess and prince and the tower, because it's already a setting people are familiar with, so you have less explaining to do.
Yeah.
So it depends. I think for the main characters, we try to create original creatures. Sometimes they do, resemble other creatures in other, like we've heard about this hunter. You're talking about that it looks a bit like, I can't remember its name in English. The creature from Max and I find it hard to remember the English names of the stories. You remember, Alon, Max and the Wonderful Journey? I can't remember. Anyway, like there are things that it resembles because we are also influenced by other things. But if it's too much, then we try to go away from it. We like it's a balance. And for other things, if it serves the purpose, so yeah, we definitely try to lean on something that is familiar.
Yeah. I know. I'm asking all the hard hitting questions here today. Yeah, I mean, it's just, so like, darn, I'm trying to think of good questions, because yeah. Audience, help me out here, guys. Come on. Questions. Because, like, you generally have ones I never think of. Like testers, everybody, uh, wonders how bugs, manage to get into games and stuff, or how,
Yeah.
so, yeah, give testers some credit, people. They work hard. And I'm not just saying that because I used to be a tester.
No, I think it's crazy. You know, like when I make games, sometimes it's just you need to play the same level again and again and again and again, and just like it becomes like insane. You start dreaming about you can't play it another time in the end. So
Well, it's also hard because there comes a point where when you're testing something, you fall into just a routine of it. That your muscle memory just takes over, and you can basically play the level blindfolded.
Yeah.
And it becomes hard to then get out of that routine to try and play through it in a
blind.
yeah.
It's like you can test the game 100 times, and then you give it to somebody else, and all of a sudden there's tons of bugs. You just do everything the same way, so it works in your way, but not in somebody else's. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also,
no, go ahead.
it's always nice to see how other people react and play and think about things that you didn't think about when you play. And of course, when you get good reactions and like people like the puzzles and game flow, that's always great.
Yeah. It's always fun too because you always see a puzzle might be designed to be solved a certain way, but then players are always going to find a very unique and interesting way to tackle the exact same situation.
Definitely.
Because
yeah, I've made a game in the past called Save Toshi, which is like a game. I used to have a company called Nitako, so we made a lot of games for mobile. It was a game that you just throw balls at this dancer who forgot how to walk, and you need to get her to the dance floor. Just this story, but like everybody we've seen it on the leaderboard. People starting getting like 4 stars in each level, which is impossible. Like you can like throw 2 balls. Like you throw 2 balls, and if you use the minimum amount of balls, you get 3 stars. And people made it like in less than 2 balls, like for some levels. So I was like crazy. How did they do it? So finally, I wrote somebody with the 4 stars rating and said, how did you do that? Then I found out that you can actually like throw a ball and then restart the game while the ball is in the air. And then like it hits when the game starts, it's already in the air. So, it's nice to see people like being creative with the video games.
Did you then patch that out so nobody else could get 4 stars in the future?
No, I definitely didn't. I left that in for people to find out.
Nice. See, that's the kind of thing too that always ingrains people to developers is when they don't take away something that's kind of game breaking, but still fun.
Yeah, exactly. In the same game, you could like throw a ball and kill the dancer. So, but you're dead. But if you die on the dance floor, like you can do it after she wins. So again, like we found that out later, but we just did it like an achievement called murder on the dance floor. So yeah, it like when it fits, it fits. We didn't want to change it.
Yeah. How did you guys get started as a team together?
Actually, the 3 of us, we all studied animation and art in the Tzalel Academy of Arts in Jerusalem. And but like I started before them, but we knew like we have a lot of connections, like a lot of people in common. So when I worked on one of my games, I met Oren through some friends, like through another project, and we started to work together. That game didn't, nothing really came out of it, but we did stay in touch, and we enjoyed working together, and we appreciated each other's skills. So when this game, after Alon and Oren finished working on the Office Quest and started to work on this game, wanted to start working on this game, Oren approached me and said if I wanted to join them. I really wanted to because I love this genre. I love working with them, and I love their art style and the story and everything. So, but I was after like a long period of my own studio. Like I couldn't make enough money with my old studio, so I started working as a freelancer and making money, good money. So it was hard for me to say, okay, I'm going back to indie mode. But it was too appealing to refuse. So I jumped back in. Every time I want out, they pull me back in.
So what I'm hearing is that independent game development is like the mob.
Yeah, it's pretty much. It's the mob if they had no money and.
Heard it here first. Heard it here first, folks. Indie games equal the mafia. I fully understand you on that. Gav Maka, however you say it, Gav, because it's weird. It should be Tesla Dev, and you know it. Who was one of the first people in chat. He's a friend of mine now for, like 5-6 years, and we've collaborated on things over the years that have never seen the light of day, that will never see the light of day. But even though nothing has ever really like clicked, that we've made, the two of us like work together wonderfully. One day,
Yeah.
Gav.
That's the important thing.
Yeah. Well, it's that nice thing where it's like Gav has a lot of strengths where I don't, like understanding programming. And then I can do a couple things. So I don't want to say he's bad at anything because, one, that's like rude. Two, I'm pretty certain if he ever sat down to really work on it, he'd be really good at it too. And three, I don't really mean to imply that I'm actually good at anything. So, but we have a question in chat from Liam. What is your earliest experience with game development?
My earliest experience with game development was as a small kid. I think I started programming really early, like in age 8 or 9 or something like that. I just so I started making like this little race game, and I made this like little game where you type like it says just type in a number. You type in a number and just it draws your face in ASCII characters or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what it looked like.
Oh.
Or then it's just like like this kind of text games. I don't know, like says what's your name, what's your mother's name, what's your sister's name, and then you just brings up this insulting story about them.
Okay.
I think that's like the early adventure, the early games I made. But professionally, I think, like in my former studio in Itako, we just like started to make a game. Me and a friend and Noam, who again both like studied with me animation, and so we made a game called Rasta Monkey, about a monkey just a Rasta feel, and it's jumping around the forest and collecting like ingredients to make a shake from his grandfather. So we just made it for fun, and the iPhone just started to come up, and we posted a video online on YouTube, and then Apple just contacted us saying, "Wow, we saw your game on YouTube. It looks really cool. We want to help you and feature you." It was like in the early days of the iPhone.
Yeah.
And and we thought, wow, it's actually we can actually make games and it can get to people. So again, it was Unity 2, the first version of like the second version of Unity. Unity 2 was the first version of Unity. Sorry, but um, and so it actually sold and it was promoted by them on the App Store and it reached high levels, like high position in the store. So it's like told me that I'm in the right place. I should continue making it, and people want to play the games I make.
Nice.
That was for me.
And for you, Alon?
Me and Owen, we studied together animation. We were in the same class, and we took a course of games design. And we made like a short point-and-click adventure about a guy that have to pee, and he's in a gas station, and the only toilet is equipped. There's somebody in there, like a big truck driver, and you have to get him out. and actually, the game flow is not so good in this game. It's like you don't. It's hard to figure out our. We actually made it pretty quick. We didn't have too much. We didn't think about it too much. So the game is not so good, but it was fun, and that's why we continued making games. Like that was our first step in this world. And after that, we made another game that I think it's better. It's about a student that have to get a discount in the help me out pronounce it, the the tax of the city. How do you say it?
Just taxes?
Yeah, you have to like get a discount in the taxes, and you have to get out some forms from his householder and from his roommate, and it's like bureaucracy. Sorry that I can't. Yeah, it's a bureaucracy quest.
Point and click game.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm gonna say this about you guys. You're kind of weird, and I dig it.
Thanks.
So you said the guy who looks like a TV screen. Yeah.
Hey, CRT technology worked for almost a century. Just saying.
Know, all the new TVs are flat now.
Yeah, I know, but CRTs were wonderful, and also if you ever need to bust through a door, you can use this head, because you know it's heavy.
Sure is.
So, no, that's, dude, like, you made a game about trying to get a discount on your taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just... Anybody who says that you can't make the most normal and mundane things about your life into a game is clearly not thinking hard enough. Because you did it. Like, I can think of nothing more boring than taxes. Hold on a second. Yeah. Nope. Totally. Taxes, most boring thing.
Nothing is more boring.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with the American tax system, but it's so boring, it requires its own brand of lawyer and at least one full accountant industry based entirely around taxes. That's how boring it is. I feel so bad for
it was actually a really fun game, the game that they made.
I have no doubt.
It got a lot of press because it was like political, because there are so many bureaucracy, and it was like a game with the protest. You know, it had a saying about the whole process, but in a really comic way. So it was in all the papers in Israel, and it's nice for a student's game.
Nice. Yeah. Also, I'm generally down with protests. I mean, depending on what the protest is about. But if you're, protesting a complex tax system or an unjust tax system, I'm all over it.
An incompetent tax system. Yeah.
Wow, it reminds me so vividly of somewhere that I might live. But yeah, other than that, like the last prepared question I have is, what are some of the difficulties that you all have had to overcome in the development so far of Lost in Play?
I think that like one of the difficulties right now is like we are in the process of closing the funding stage of the game. It had a lot of back and forth with the investors and stuff like that. So I hope that we are on the right track currently. But like in terms of making a game itself, it's always hard. It's always a struggle, but it's something that we know all the ins and outs and where to go, and we are experienced enough to solve the issues. But I think on these terms of getting a budget and convincing everybody that it's the right thing to do, and also like finding the right partner for us. I think that was the hardest thing so far. Yeah.
Well, I'm about to add to your difficulty in development because channel mod and friend of the channel, Fictional Cat, has redeemed channel points. And you know what? Unless you spend an additional 500, only one of them has to do it. But one of you, and it's up to you two which one it is going to have to do a dab.
Do a what?
Dab, the silly dance move.
Oh, the dab. Okay.
Yeah. So it's up to you two.
Alon, are you going to do it?
Oh, nope. Now it's both of you. Yep, now it's both of you. He's redeemed all the points. Oh! Yo! These guys nailed it.
Good.
Dude, you guys have had like the best guest dabs.
Wow, thank you.
Like,
I'm getting a lot of compliments on my dabs.
Yo, Fictional Cat, send me a message on Discord, 37 minutes. 'Cause that's getting clipped and that's going on Instagram. 'Cause yeah, if you haven't seen, I like to, if there's a particularly fun or funny moment from the show, I like to make a silly video of it and put it up on social media because I think it's, it drives a little viewership into the channel, hopefully. At the very least, it's a good creative outlet for me. But yeah, no, those were good dabs, guys. Nailed it. Mine will look better when I get my trackers working and I have arms again. I just, floating hands. Although that said, though, my jazz hands are top notch. Kunia Labs says game funding and marketing should never be ignored by indies, and yeah, it's pretty on point.
Wow.
Because
don't have any legs, or are they also just floating around?
Oh no, I don't need legs. I can float.
Wow.
Yeah.
Convenience.
I can float, and I can also pass through certain objects that don't have a collision volume. So
impressive.
I've been working on this for off and on now for 3 years, and it's only in the last few months that it's all kind of come together. And yeah, it's been a crazy journey that has been a heck of a lot of fun, and is made even more fun by getting to talk to independent developers like you guys. And like, I've had some crazy guests, and I've just been super happy with all of them. Except for Liam. No, I'm kidding. Liam's wonderful. He's real down on himself for his on-camera stuff, and he's fine. You know, like he's so far from the worst people on camera I've ever seen. So there you go, Liam. A little build you up today. And that's the truth of it. Now, real quick, does anybody else in the audience have any other questions, comments, silly jokes? It is, loosely a family show. The gaming convention in New York City. No, I don't think I actually did. I've been like, it's a question for me actually in chat, which rarely ever happens. No, I've been really kind of slammed the last couple weeks getting this show ready, or not this particular episode ready, but just the show in general. And then too, it's like I mentioned earlier, I have people coming to my house. They're fixing up our electrical box, and it's nuts. Like getting that all sorted out, because like I don't. Well, I actually no. I imagine it gets quite warm in Israel.
Yeah, it's
It
really
is,
warm
it is.
as well.
Well, we're very likely not having the same level of summer that you are. We're having a very warm summer by Wisconsin standards, and a day without any electricity whatsoever is not going to be fun.
No.
We got
Here it's murder, you know.
Yeah. And I get all the animals I have to worry about too, because they might overheat. Yeah, they'll be fine. Whatever, they're cats.
Yeah. We are also in Celsius, which is much warmer. You know,
Well,
Fahrenheit for for us.
well, our numbers sound scary.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see. Don't worry, I can roughly translate over into Celsius. Roughly, you ask me kilometers and like kilograms, dude. I got that. That's because it's a super easy calculation. Whereas like Celsius, it's like all like stupid algebra and stuff.
Yeah, I don't understand Fahrenheit at all. You know, like what's zero? Zero is freezing. You know, so zero is I don't know.
For us, it's 32 degrees.
Oh, zero is 32.
Yeah, 32 degrees is the freezing point of water. But at about negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit is also roughly negative 30 degrees Celsius.
Really?
Yeah, I only know this because in Wisconsin, it can get to negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit and Celsius in winter.
Seriously? Minus 30.
Yeah, oh man, it's beautiful when it's that cold.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because one, nobody's out because everybody's trying to stay inside. So
stay alive.
Yeah. Oh man, it's all about layers. That's how you do it. But when it's minus 30 out, so nobody else is going outside. So it's when you go outside and like all the animals are quiet because they're all hiding and stuff, and it's so beautiful and peaceful, and just hope that there's no wind, because then it gets cold. Yeah, but I mean, it's objectively cold, sure, but I enjoy it.
Wow, it's good for your CPU, I think.
Yeah, it is. I could probably, man, if it were that cold out, I could run my computer. I could probably overclock by about like 75% at that level, or at that temperature.
Wow. So when you overclock, it's like you live longer. You just see everything slower. Wow. It's like time travel.
Yeah. Well, I think it would be more like living in the bullet time from the Matrix.
Bullet time.
I would be the one.
So no wonder you like the cold. Yeah.
Yeah. And CRTs do better in cold than LCDs.
Wow. So you have an advantage over the young guys.
Yeah, it's because I don't have any liquid running my display. So, but gentlemen, we have made it through all of my questions. We have made it through the audience's questions, which means that it's time for the 5 questions. Now, unlike last week, as we discussed before the show, I could not come up with an appropriate theme that was easy to build questions around. My goal was to create a theme around jobs which don't require imagination, because your game is about imagination. So, unfortunately, instead of getting a fun, like targeted set of 5 questions, you're getting a random set of 5 questions, which means that you don't have to worry about, a score. So that's always a positive.
Okay.
So, question number 1. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Well, for me, it's Star Trek.
Okay.
For me, Star Wars.
Okay.
But the original movies.
Okay.
Well, I'll put Spaceballs in there. So Spaceballs first, then Star Trek, then Star Wars.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. I can definitely get down with that answer. Mel Brooks is a national treasure. Though I will say my personal favorite of his would be Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of he's had less good movies, but he hasn't made a bad movie.
I don't know if he hasn't made a bad movie. What's that? Like that movie was a bit too weird.
Which one?
What's the name? The game with the guy with the crazy eyes. That. Never mind.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Okay. Question number 2. I'm about to name off 3 different franchises, and one of them has to be erased from history and gone for all time.
Wow.
Which one are you getting rid of? Halo, the video game series, the Jaws movie franchise, or the Jack Reacher novels?
The Jack Reacher novels.
Yeah, they made 2 movies out of them with the Tom Cruise guy, because he's in everything and he likes to do his own stunts, and he's moderately crazy.
Well, I'd get rid of Jaws, not because I dislike the movie, just because of the bad publicity for the sharks. I like sharks. I think it's offensive to sharks.
That's a fair answer. I would counter that by saying that post the release of Jaws, Peter Benchley did devote a large portion of his time to conservation and education about sharks, because he felt really bad about, he felt really guilty about the effect that the book and the movie had on the public's perception of sharks.
Yeah, I don't think you could fix what it did. The impact of that movie was so big. So, yeah, but it's still a good movie.
Yeah, I'm also just have to fight you because it's one of my 5 favorite of all time. So,
bring it on.
I don't know what exactly to answer.
Then just say Jack Reacher then.
Okay, I say.
All right, cool. Yeah, good answer. Good answer. All right. Question number 3. What animal makes the best pet? And I'm not giving you an option. You just tell me whatever you think.
Which animal makes the best pet? Well, the honest answer, of course, is a dog. It's the obvious answer, but come on. Dogs are so... No, they're dogs. They're so cute. But I don't have any dogs right now. I grew up with dogs, but I have 2 cats, which are really assholes, if I can say.
You can. I do have the adult language warning ahead of the show.
Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah, I will stick with dogs also, but I would like I think it's called gecko, like a small lizard.
Gecko.
They're cute.
Yeah. Gecko. Yeah, exactly.
I've never had a gecko, but my wife and I did have an iguana for a long period of time, and he was an asshole.
Yeah.
But we adopted him, and his previous owners were also assholes. But once we kind of built that mutual respect for each other, he got less assholey. But he was always kind of, he was never friendly. Never friendly.
Yeah, they're lizards. They're from outer space. They don't think like us.
It's because they lack several portions of the brain that we have.
Well, yeah.
So they can't think like us.
Just don't want to.
Yeah, clearly it's a moral failing of the lizards. But I'm with you on that one, Alon. That like they are cool animals. And geckos are so cute.
Yeah.
And they can just like stick to anything.
Amazing.
Yeah. They got like really their toes have are just they can Spider-Man their way up everything. Fictional Cat, if you could go ahead and delete that message for me, that would be grand, because that is very clearly some spam that should not be in the channel. All right. Question number 4. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
If a woodchuck wood, how much would a woodchuck chuck?
Yeah, how much wood?
A woodchuck wood? I can't remember the answer for it.
As much as wood if the woodchuck chuck, if the woodchuck wood.
I mean, it's really a question that has no answer.
It doesn't have an answer. I thought it had an answer for it.
I'm sure that there is an answer, but I never bothered to learn it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fictional Cat. I just wanted to say something really fast and silly. So, question number 5. This is the one that has a correct answer. Do either of you play Pokemon Go? And can you trade me region-specific Pokemon?
My daughter plays Pokemon Let's Go. But she's not that good, so I'm not sure you would benefit from her collection. You're a hardcore Pokemon player?
No, but I play Pokemon Go every day. It is my mobile game of choice. But
Okay.
I've been asking everybody who's from a region outside of the U.S. that has region-specific Pokemon that I don't have access to, because I want to I want to pad my Pokédex here, and so far the answer has universally been no.
Yeah.
And it just One day.
My daughter's grown up, so
One day.
When she was smaller, she used to play, but no judgment.
Dude, I don't care if you judge me or not. I like the game and I have fun. And if you want to judge me for liking the game, I'm not the asshole here.
That's true. You're right. No, I'm kidding. It's a good game.
Oh yeah, no, I don't I don't care either way. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine. Because that's something I think a lot of like gamers and just people who enthusiasts of any medium don't get is just because somebody else doesn't like something you do doesn't diminish your fun and enjoyment of it, and doesn't mean that it's bad.
Of course.
It just people are all one of the things. One of my very unpopular opinions is I don't like The Last of Us at all, and everybody thinks that I'm crazy. And I don't care. But then again, they tell me they call me crazy because I like, say Destiny, and I love me some Destiny, even if I haven't played it for a few weeks,
Yeah.
So as I said, I've been busy with the show. Well, guys, it's been awesome having you here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us. It was really
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, hell yeah,
Yeah.
man. I have said this to everybody for the most part so far, but I say it because I mean it. I tend not to say things that I don't mean because I feel that is, what's the word I'm looking for? Lying. But when you guys are closer to release and everything, I mean, we have each other's emails. We also talk on Twitter. So feel free to shoot me a message. Let me know, and I'd love to have you on again to help promote the release.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks.
you very much for that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Thanks.
man.
Thanks.
So,
Appreciate it.
yeah, of course. And then before we go, where can people find you all in the game on social media?
We can find us on Twitter, Happy Juice Games. On Facebook, also Happy Juice Games. So yeah, come in and go into Steam and press that wishlist button and make us happy.
It does
Yeah.
really help them out.
Yeah, it does.
And if anybody's ever curious as to why it helps them out, it's because of all the behind the scenes metrics of how all that stuff works. Kind of like how liking and subscribing on YouTube, I actually worked it in there, does actually help boost videos and games in all that algorithmy stuff. So, well, gentlemen, once again, thank you. And I'm going to change camera angles right now, but I'll be back with you in just a minute. So, this is the point where I look over at my audience and I say, thank you all for joining us today. It has been wonderful, as always. Love you guys in my studio audience. This week is going to be a fairly busy one with the exception of Friday. We have Slug Disco tomorrow. They're coming on to talk about their game Empires of the Undergrowth at 2 p.m. We have finally got around to getting the gold medalist team from last month's Pitch Your Game Awards, Dorfromantic. They will be here at Wednesday at 11 a.m. And then on Thursday, newly discovered, well, not newly discovered, but new friend to me, VR artist VR Rosie will be on at 4 p.m. Of course, all the times are Eastern because that's the way we do it. And as I said at the beginning of the show, but just in case you weren't here at the beginning, we'll be doing another community game night this upcoming Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will continue to play Unfortunate Spacemen. We had a blast playing last night. At some point today, I'll put together a silly clip video of the 5 seconds that I did well. So until then, everybody, thank you all for joining us. It has been a pleasure. Splinter Shield, thank you for coming in. Good to see you. And I'll see you all next time on That Thom Clancy Show. Have a good day.